This is my audience. You will receive no money in scholarships from our university due to your low ACT score. This is a statement which I have experienced firsthand when applying to colleges throughout this past year, and it is being heard by numerous students around the country. People today believe that these standardized tests are the best determination of a student's ability, and they believe that these tests accurately portray how successful a student will be. Standardized tests can be defined as a test that is set up and administered by the state, typically multiple choice, that is used to put a specified number on how smart someone is. This is a picture of how the ACT looks on the cover. This is a picture of the SAT, which is another standardized test. This is a picture of where students mark their answers, and this is also a picture of the university I tried applying to. According to the National Center for Fair and Open Testing, also known as the FAIR test, the U.S. is only economically advanced nation to rely heavily on multiple choice tests. Ironically, because other nations do not focus on teaching to multiple choice tests, they even score higher than U.S. students in academic, which is on my Works Cited page. It is obvious that state-mandated tests are not working, and I believe we have got to turn this problem around and make people realize the implications of these tests. I have personally encountered the problems associated with these tests, and after speaking with the academic advisor and learning more about this problem, I have only deepened my stance that this is a serious problem in our country. Standardized tests should not be the deciding factor of a student's performance level, because these tests are limited to a student's performance on a given day. Many students are unfamiliar with the testing environment, and many students simply are not good test takers. The main reason the standardized tests should not be influential in determining a student's potential is that the fact that these tests are limited to a student's performance on a given day. The idea that a student can be evaluated primarily by a test taken on a single day is preposterous. Kelly Gallagher posed the following question in her book, ReadySide. Do we understand that there is evidence that focusing on state actually decreases college readiness, which is worded on my Works Cited page? I believe one reason for this decrease is that a number of unfortunate events could happen on a day the standardized test is scheduled. A test taker could acquire an illness, or he or she could have personal problems taking place, or the student could purely be having a bad day. These factors are proven to affect a student mentally and physically, which in turn causes the student to score lower. In order to fix this, we need to take the emphasis off high stakes tests and place more on how a student performs throughout their entire education. A student's transcript needs to be a key factor when determining a student's ability, because their transcript shows achievements over a period of time, not just a given day. Unfamiliar testing environments affecting someone's focus, causing careless mistakes, is another reason why standardized tests should not be very significant. This is a picture of her book, ReadySide, and this is also a picture of a student taking a state-mandated test. When taking a test, the environment where the test occurs is very important. If a student gets distracted by another student, or simply because they are not familiar with the setting in which they are taking the test, their nerves set in and focus becomes impossible. When a student takes the ACT for the first time, they don't really know what to expect. As a result, that student is overtaken by nerves concerning their test due to their lack of experience. One possible solution to this problem could be to allow alternative methods of testing for students. Explain to the students the way the test is set up and caution them about possible distractions and nerves that could occur, and if they still feel distracted by the unfamiliarity of testing space, allow them to take a short break from the test and regain their thoughts. Standardized tests should not be imperative to someone's academic reputation because many students are simply unable to perform well on standardized tests. Many students are incapable of completing state-mandated tests due to time restraints and mental blocks provoked by the mere thought of taking a high-stakes test. Students, including myself, find themselves overwhelmed by stress and anxiety because of inability to raise their test scores. While speaking with the guidance counselor at LCHS, she said that standardized tests are not a true reflection of a student's ability because problems often experience test anxiety and they cannot perform well under the time restraints, which is located on my Works Cited page. Numerous students face the same problem. We know the material necessary to perform well, but we allow these tests to get in our head and shatter our confidence and compromise the essentials needed to succeed. In order to help students overcome these testing anxiety, the time restraints put on these standardized tests need to be gotten rid of. Much of the stress that becomes with taking these tests involve the time requirements and worrying about having enough time to complete the test. So I believe that if we get rid of the time restraints, we'll see a greater score come from these students. Students commonly fall short of their expectations as a result of standardized tests. These tests should not be used so extensively to calculate a student's intellectual ability because these tests are based on a student's performance on a single day in an environment which may cause them to become very nervous and many just not take a high stakes. Nobody likes to be told they aren't good enough, and the only way to stop being told we aren't good enough is to make these changes to standardized tests and lower the importance of these tests. This is a picture of my audience. And that's the names.